I was on a routine traffic stop on Main Street in Endwell, New York, when I overheard our dispatch put out a call about a female who was down, not breathing. I believe she was in her 20s, possible heroin overdose. I left the traffic stop. I was several blocks away. I responded over to the house. Upon my arrival, the mother met me at the door. She was screaming that her daughter was not breathing, and she wanted us to save her life. I asked her where she was. She said, up in the bathroom upstairs.
I was called to a overdose call in a parking lot where I work. I was in the actual parking lot at the time, so I got there relatively quickly, and I observed a female victim in the front seat of this pickup truck. I immediately assessed that she was overdosing, her agonal breathing, she was blue, wasn't responsive at all. I called for an ambulance, I called for other sector cars to come help me out.
Climbed the stairs and I found her in the bathroom on her back. She was blue, was not breathing, very little, if any, heartbeat. I began to assemble the Narcan kit. Another officer arrived. He began doing chest compressions. Once I administered the Narcan, half in one nostril, half in the other nostril. Then I tried to establish an airway by tilting her head, the chin lift, tilt, and she began to gurgle and breathing slightly on her own. At this point, the ambulance was arriving. We pulled her out into the hallway, and the ambulance crew started working on her, and she started breathing a lot better. They put a tube down her throat, and she came out of it.
I pulled her out of the vehicle to get her on a flat surface to start basically doing an assessment, giving her some oxygen. I ran to my police car. I got Narcan, I got the AED, and the oxygen tank. I gave her the two doses of Narcan, which is the one syringe, one in each nostril, and within a minute or so she was coming to. When she started to come around, she opened her eyes. She wasn't able to speak, but you could see that she was coming to. When she finally got on the ambulance about 3 or 4 minutes later, she was having full conversation. She wasn't combative or anything like that. She was grateful. In
my instance with the Narcan, the girl came out of very slowly. She was very docile, and in fact, one of the paramedics said to her, "Welcome back. You were dead," and her eyes just opened up, and she, was very calm. When I first was told I was going to be carrying the Narcan, I was actually happy about it. I had been on several scenes where we've lost people that were doing heroin or opiates, pills, and I've been on some scenes where they've survived. And most typically, when the ambulance would get there and administer it, usually through an IV, they'd come right out of it. The guys that I've been with or that I've talked to since I've administered it, they were a little bit nervous about carrying it, feeling that maybe they would be held liable, and there's really no liability to it. It's not going to hurt somebody. They would make statements of maybe. Well, I didn't get in this to be a paramedic. I got in this to be a cop, and I tell them, look, if you had a 4-year-old kid choking, would you try to save his life? And of course they say yes.
I was nervous, a little scared. It takes a lot to save someone's life, and now we would have the ability to do that. And I was skeptical that it would work.
I can't stress the importance of the training. In my incident, I actually used both of the kits that I had, because the first time while assembling it, it's fairly easy to assemble, but I got a little nervous and I had pushed the thing in too far. Re-administered the second tube that I had, and from training, from the mistake, I thought, I knew that I just put it in a little bit, was able to administer 2 full doses into the victim. I've been through several trainings in my career, and a lot of them, there's several trainings that you're falling asleep in the back of the room. I think this is one aspect of police work, or one thing that you're going to be trained in, where you need to pay attention. Because in your career, I've been on for 23 years, and in your career, you will potentially be called to a scene to save a life with Narcan.